Hello. Well, what are we doing today? Well, today we're having a look at a two-dimensional gimbal, which I'm hoping to put on the front of an aircraft, well, model aircraft I should say. Now, if you want to do this more professionally, I suggest you go and watch Tim the Plane Man. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. So if you want to know how to do drones and, you know, aircraft drones and everything else, he's really into this. This is the poor man's version of what Tim's doing. And I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but I thought I'd give it a try. Now, I bought this from AliExpress. There's the label, if you wanted some sort of description with it. Unfortunately, there's no instructions. And this is how it comes. From what I can see, it's got a lot of Allen key bolts in it. And so what I have to do is go on my computer and go from the photographs. So just give me a second and we will go straight to the screen of my laptop. Now this is what the gimbal looks like. I only have these photos to go by to help me put it together because there's no manual. As you can see, there's a little camera on there, and if I can, I will try and blow these photographs up a little bit and see if I can put this together. As you can see, it costs £16.86 plus your postage and everything else. It comes to about, I don't know, 20 odd quid. So we're going to give this a try, and this is all I've got to go on to get this into one piece. So let's see what I can do. Right, so what's in the bag? Well, actually I've not opened this, truly sincerely I've not opened this. Let's get this open. So we have a big bag of bits, and we have one servo, some arms, a couple of 3 screws, okay. Right, so we'll just put that to one side. What's in the other? Oh, there's 3 bags. So there's two servos, okay, identical, which are MG90s, micro servo. It doesn't see grams, but I'm going to take a guess and say they're 17 gram, for what I can gather from them. Just put those to one side just for a moment. Now, what's in this bag here? Now, this is the one with all the fiddly bits. Okay. Oh, we have an Allen key. That's useful. We have the Allen bolts, and these are, well, I suppose it's light aluminium, but it doesn't feel like aluminium. It feels like plated plastic, if I'm being honest with you, with a blue film around it. So I'm guessing these have been laser cut. So I'll peel off the blue plastic. They're a little bit, I wouldn't say they're finished, they're sort of as if it needs filing. But anyway, never mind. So I'll take off the plastic there, there's stuff here. It's a bit Raggedy Ann. There was some guy on YouTube. I had a look on YouTube to see if anybody had the same thing, and I can't find it. But there's something, I think it's called Gear Pro, which, unless it's a very old one, it's actually costs less money and everything's all built in. And I think you get it sort of ready made. I don't know. But the thing is, I'm new to all of this. I don't know anything about gimbals or stuff like that there. So, yeah. So whether what I'm doing is of any value to you, I don't know. I'm not a professional at this. I don't profess to be. But anyway, so you get these bits. Let's take the rest of this off. You can always fast forward to the good bits if you like. And here we go. Pull all of that off. Okay, right. You might hear the doorbell go a little bit low. I'm expecting Henry to come round with a propeller for me for actually another part of a model that I'm building to accommodate this. So we'll see. So let's get the rest of this blue off. Okay. So this took about 2-3 weeks to get to me from China. China, came from China. Okay. And yeah. Right, so this is what we have. We have this, 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 and this, and that as well. So there we go. And we have a bag of Allen bolts. Let's see, let's tip them out. Oh wow, there's a lot. My good lady's just walked into the kitchen. If you're wondering what the footsteps are, seems to be what looks like a little racing bearing there. We've got bushes. Okay, sort out the bushes. I always find, you know, from my time as a young man rebuilding cars, in those days before credit cards, and you had to pay cash for everything, and you couldn't buy anything unless you could actually afford it, so that came in useful. So then you know what you've got, and having screws, different size screws. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in some sort of order. I'll come straight back to you. Okay, so putting the servos to one side, this is what you get. There's your Allen key. These are the, what I think are actually I don't think that's aluminium, but I could be wrong. You got half a dozen of everything, all different types and lengths. So I've tried to put them in some sort of order so I can, you know, readily come to them. So I hope you can see all that. Everything's sort of laid out. So I only have the photographs on the desktop to go by, no instructions, and I have absolutely no idea where to start. So I think what I'll probably do is try and match up this part here, which I think goes this way round and has, what I can see, this part here going something like that. So I'm going to do that first, and rather than bore you to death, I'm going to stop and start. So let me just see if I can put that together. Right, so from what I can ascertain, you take the servo arm onto this part of the fork, then this part goes on top like this, and then the screws go through the middle, and so those are two bushes there. So let me just get that into place. Tighten these down. Okay, tighten those down. I'm not going to do them tight, just loosely. So this looks like that. And there's your servo arm there. So obviously the servo has to go underneath here. So I'm going to leave that to one side just for a minute and see how that configures. I'm not going to tighten anything down, but it's quite obvious to me that this servo arm rotates on that axis there. So yeah, there you go. So this is what it looks like if you happen to buy this gimbal. You've got to put it together. So let me just study this just a little bit more. Right then, so where have we got to? So you have to get the servos put in almost from the start. This one servo, it's taking a little bit of time because it's getting orientation, you see, from the photographs, but this servo goes in this way up. There's another servo that goes in here, and then this connects to this plate here, which I believe holds the camera. At the moment this is loose. From the photographs, what's holding it in is the horns, but there are some screws to go in there. I need to discover which screws those are, but for the moment I'm leaving it like that because the screws are not shown, so they need to go in. So we have this part and this part, and this part will go in, from what I can see, this way, like this. So that's got to go inside of there, and that stays in that plate. So it looks as though I'm going to have to undo those two screws, get this plate and the servo into that position there. Not quite sure I'm going to do that, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite easy once I've started it. I think it goes round that way, I think. I'll have another look at the photographs, and as soon as I've worked it out, that will go in. Well, that goes in there, and the arm is under that plate there. So I might have to finish this tomorrow morning. Okay. Right, I've had to take this completely apart again because this servo here was the wrong way around. And then I thought to myself, hang on, this part here has got to go on before that servo goes in there. So I've taken this servo out and added this on. Okay, so then this servo here goes back as before. No, let's get this right. That goes underneath there like that. Come on. Like that. So then that will go in there like that. So I've got to put these screws back in. As soon as I've done that, I'll come straight back to you. But that's what it looks like anyway. So you've got to make this all up first and then put the servo in. There you go, such is life. Well, I've had to take the whole thing apart again, and I'll tell you for why. Because I had everything in place, then I realised that this would not turn on its axis because the cable was hitting the bottom of this solenoid. And then when I closely looked again, I realised that on this part here, the servo has got to go from the outside in, not from the inside out. So I'm going to put this all back together again, and then we're going to see how it looks. The base works quite well actually. The only alteration I had to do was to put a 1.5mm hole through the control horn on this side only. If you put it on this side with the provided hole, it's going to hit the back of the servo here. So you need to avoid doing that. You can only put the hole in one place, unless you're prepared to drill an extra hole in there, which I probably will. But I just want to see if I can get it working first before I do that. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the camera off and put this back together. Okay, so I've got it working. How about that? So here's a quick demonstration. Up and down, left and right. So that's all off my radio for now. So there's your left and right, up and down, so you can literally do all of that. Okay, and this of course will be your mount, so wherever you mount this on, and the camera goes on the front. And of course, you know, you got to trim everything up and get it how you want it, but basically that's how it operates. Now you'll probably notice, for those who are more observant, I now have a white servo there. This servo was just pants. It was all it just sort of seized up, just wouldn't work. So I managed to find one identical and got it in there. So for those who are going to buy this gimbal, let me just get the description correct now. The description is a 2-axis gimbal, FPV gimbal drone, gimbal with 2 metal servos for model aeroplane cameras aluminium alloy, and in the UK they're £16.86. Obviously you don't get the camera with it, so the next thing I've got to figure out is the camera to put on there. What I'd like to do is probably use this as a guide camera and then affix a GoPro so I get a higher quality, and then run this off a headset which would be an FPV. So that's the next challenge. So there you go. Take a good look at that, because you'll take note of one or two items that the photograph does not show clearly. So with this servo, it must go in from the top and not from underneath. That stops everything, because it'll hit the cable there underneath, and it just won't move. So you've got this configuration at the top, which I used, and then this configuration helps you to put this camera mount together. This is two different pieces, okay. And the other thing is, what will confuse you is that there's a lot of parts left over. So what I did, just to show you, these are all the leftover parts, okay. So this is from the new servo. You've got all of these left over. You've got these left over. You've got these left over. These are just parts for the servo replaced. You've got all these little screws here left over. You've got what looks like, I think, the 3mm nuts left over, and all these other tiny bits as well as. So obviously I'm not going to throw them away. Maybe I will discover how they, whether they're just thrown in or what. But anyway, so please take a close look. Use this for reference if you buy this. So I'll just hold it by its base here, and you can see that that turns, and you've got your up and down there, and I will give you a full 360 degrees look around. So if you do buy one of these, you can have a better idea than what I did, certainly by looking at photographs which are not too clear. In fact, one of the photographs I believe is back to front. So okay, so you can freeze frame anywhere you need to on here, and then just use that to construct your gimbal. And that's from AliExpress, 2-axis gimbal FPV. Okay, so there you go. It does work, and there you go. Okay, and I'll have to look into the camera side of it. I'm hoping to fit this to an aircraft that's under construction right now, and it's very near its maiden flight. So thanks for looking in. Cheerio.